everyone, welcome to back my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. The bold and the beautiful spoilers say that Thomas Forrester, Matthew Atkinson, is back, but it looks like fans want him to return and move back to Paris. Already, that's because it seems like he is emotionally blackmailing his father Ridge Forrester, Thorsten K., to make sure that he marries his mother Taylor Hayes, Rebecca Budig, at all costs. And he's also going to make sure Brooke Logan, Catherine Kelly Lang, stays out of the picture. Clearly, Toma is already up to his shenanigans, but a lot of viewers have questions. Who took the picture of Ridge kissing Brooke after he saved her from drowning? What does Thomas plan on doing with this tidbit of information? Of course, B&B fans certainly did have a lot to say about the matter on social media. Some fans even commented with, "The fact that he feels he has to emotionally blackmail his father into marrying his mother really says it all." You'd think he'd have learned after his previous manipulations ended in his mother being left at the altar multiple times. Another critic wrote, "His track record of marriage manipulation makes him a pro. Probably grabbed the Hope mannequin on his way out since Liam wants Hope again. My eyes need stitches to keep them from rolling out of my head." And then there was this comment as well. "Too funny, make him go away. I stole my kid, got engaged, had no job, still have no job now, no bride, and left his kid in a foreign country. Yikes, how old is he? I need mommy and daddy to make me feel whole again." For now, fans will simply have to tune in each and every day to find out what will happen next. The Bold and the Beautiful airs weekdays on the CBS network. Check your local listings for times. For the Forresters, life has always been about power, passion, and the unrelenting pull of family loyalty. But lately, it seems that the very foundations of Forrester creations are being shaken in ways none of them could have anticipated. At the center of this storm is Thomas Forrester, the troubled, cunning, yet deeply misunderstood son whose emotional turmoil has recently crossed into dangerous territory. This week, all eyes are on Thomas as he embarks on a perilous emotional blackmail campaign against his father, Ridge, leaving everyone at Forrester Creations holding their breath. It all began when Ridge started noticing subtle changes in Thomas. Whereas before Thomas' manipulations were often overt and designed for personal gain, now they were more insidious, laced with emotional vulnerability. Ridge, the rock of the Forrester family, had always been Thomas' guiding star, a source of support through heartbreaks, failed relationships, and ambitious career moves. But lately, Thomas has taken a dark turn, weaponizing his father's love against him. Thomas has always craved Ridge's approval. Yet, in recent weeks, that craving has turned into something more manipulative. He's begun planting seeds of doubt, guilt, and obligation in Ridge's mind. Subtle comments about loyalty, family sacrifice, and Ridge's failures to protect those he loves have been woven into everyday conversations. Thomas knows exactly which emotional strings to pull, whether it's Ridge's guilt over his past choices, his lingering love for Brooke, or his protective instincts toward his children. Thomas' first calculated move came during a seemingly innocent meeting in the Forrester boardroom. Ridge was discussing upcoming fashion lines when Thomas interrupted with a pointed question about Brooke. "Dad," Thomas began, his voice almost trembling, "don't you ever think about how Brooke's life might have turned out if you had really chosen her fully instead of hedging your bets all the time?" Ridge, caught off guard, felt a pang of guilt. He had always loved Brooke deeply, but circumstances and timing had often led him down paths he wished he hadn't taken. Thomas, noticing the crack in his father's armor, pressed further. "I mean, you've always tried to do the right thing, but sometimes I think you leave people hanging. People who really count on you, like me." The subtlety was genius. Thomas framed his manipulation as concern, even regret, almost making Ridge feel that the onus was on him to fix the emotional damage Thomas suffered. Ridge, feeling both protective and responsible, agreed to extend Thomas a professional opportunity at Forrester Creations that he hadn't truly earned, a classic move that blurred boundaries between personal loyalty and business. Thomas has always been ambitious. Over the years, he's tried to prove himself as a designer. Yet his career has often been overshadowed by his siblings' successes. Now he's using that ambition as leverage, intertwining his professional future with Ridge's sense of paternal duty. During a private conversation in Ridge's office, Thomas dropped another emotionally loaded comment. "Dad, sometimes I wonder if you really see me for who I am. I've worked so hard, but it's like I'm always in your shadow, or worse, in someone else's shadow." Ridge, torn between pride and concern, reassured him, but Thomas' timing was impeccable. Ridge was already juggling corporate pressures, family tensions, and personal guilt over past decisions. Thomas knew that by framing his need for recognition as an emotional plea, he could manipulate Ridge into granting favors he might not otherwise consider. Thomas' emotional blackmail doesn't stop with Ridge. He's also subtly playing on Ridge's protective instincts regarding other family members, particularly Steffi and Kelly. At a recent dinner, Thomas brought up his own perceived mistreatment, carefully linking it to Ridge's decisions that affected Steffi's happiness. "I just hope you don't let her down the way you've let me down sometimes," Thomas said, almost whispering, his eyes glistening with manufactured sorrow. Ridge's protective instinct kicked in immediately. How could he not intervene when Thomas framed himself as the vulnerable one, almost helpless without his father's guidance? This strategy cleverly manipulates Ridge's emotions while reinforcing Thomas' position as the victim of circumstance, a role he's mastered over years of complex family drama. Watching Ridge grapple with Thomas' manipulation is almost painful. Normally composed and decisive, Ridge now finds himself second-guessing his every action. Every decision he makes, whether it's giving Thomas a promotion, allowing him access to sensitive projects, or even mediating disputes within the family, is filtered through the lens of Thomas' emotional pleas. The subtlety of Thomas' blackmail is what makes it so dangerous. He's not demanding anything outright, but Ridge feels an almost irresistible compulsion to protect his son from himself, from perceived slights, and from the competitive pressures of the Forrester empire. Ridge's guilt, his fatherly love, and his desire to see Thomas succeed are all being weaponized. Of course, Brooke Logan is not blind to what's happening. She's witnessed the tension rising between Ridge and Thomas and has grown increasingly concerned. She knows Thomas' history, his capacity for manipulation and emotional games. Brooke has confronted Ridge gently, warning him, "Ridge, you have to be careful. Thomas is skilled at making you feel responsible for things you didn't cause." But Ridge, for all his experience, is trapped. He wants to believe in the good in his son, even as the evidence mounts that Thomas' behavior is anything but innocent. Brooke's warnings, while well-intentioned, are met with a mix of defensiveness and sorrow. Ridge wants to protect Thomas, even at the expense of his own peace of mind. Thomas isn't content with just subtle manipulations. His plan is escalating, carefully orchestrated to maximize Ridge's emotional response. He recently leaked confidential information about a Forrester project, then feigned distress over a mistake he claimed he made under pressure. When Ridge confronted him, Thomas broke down, tears streaming, saying, "I just wanted to do right by you, Dad. I didn't mean to mess up. You've always believed in me. Don't stop now." The brilliance lies in the dual narrative. Thomas appears contrite and vulnerable, yet he's actively engineering situations that place Ridge in a position where he must intervene. Ridge, faced with his son's apparent distress, bends over backward to offer reassurance, support, and guidance, effectively giving Thomas both emotional control and professional leverage. The impact of Thomas' emotional blackmail is not confined to Ridge alone. The ripple effect is being felt throughout Forrester Creations. Employees notice the tension, whisper conversations circulate, and project deadlines are impacted. Ridge's decision-making is clouded, influenced by the fear of disappointing Thomas or exacerbating his emotional state. Steffi, ever perceptive, has started noticing inconsistencies in Thomas' stories, sparking her own concern. She confronts him, but Thomas, ever the actor, turns the confrontation into a lesson on empathy and understanding. "Steffi, you wouldn't understand unless you walked in my shoes," he says, tilting his head in feigned vulnerability. This interaction serves to isolate him from other family members while keeping Ridge firmly in his corner. The stakes are high. Thomas is walking a dangerous tightrope. Emotional blackmail is a volatile weapon, and Ridge's eventual realization, or worse, exposure by another family member, could trigger a major family conflict. Yet Thomas seems undeterred, convinced that his careful manipulation is just another test of loyalty, love, and familial bonds. Even Eric Forrester, patriarch of the family, is beginning to sense the strain. While he hasn't fully grasped the depth of Thomas' tactics, he notices Ridge's uncharacteristic indecision and anxiety. Eric's protective instincts toward both Ridge and the Forrester legacy make him a potential obstacle to Thomas' plans, though Thomas is cunning enough to maintain the facade of concern and vulnerability around him as well. The coming days promise a dramatic climax to this emotional power struggle. With Thomas' manipulations growing bolder and Ridge's emotional defenses weakened, the tension within the Forrester family is reaching a breaking point. Viewers can expect a showdown where Ridge must confront the uncomfortable truth. Is Thomas truly the vulnerable son he appears to be, or has he become a master manipulator, leveraging love and guilt to bend everyone to his will? Brooke will play a pivotal role, acting as both voice of reason and emotional anchor for Ridge. Steffi, caught between sibling loyalty and moral duty, may take decisive action that threatens Thomas' carefully crafted control. And Thomas, sensing the walls closing in, could take an even more dramatic step, one that forces Ridge to make an impossible choice between family loyalty and moral integrity. Thanks for watching this video, and please subscribe our Boldy and BAUTFUL UPDAT YouTube channel for more update news.